thank you for connecting and reaching out. What can I tell you? What was on your mind when you reached out?
Yeah, I think I just sort of had this sort of process. I've been sort of a little bit lost over the last couple of probably 12, 18 months as to, what I really want to do, how I want to do it, whereabouts. And yesterday I was busy sort of sitting down and making notes of, I've always focused on what I don't want, which ends up happening. And yesterday I was like, I've got to change this. So I was sort of focusing on what I do want. And I just sort of made this list of, what I want, where I want to go, how I want to do it, or sort of not how I want to do it, but sort of getting the initial sort of plans of, what I actually want to do. And then I saw your post. I was like, well, that's sort of, the universe sort of coming in and saying, here you go. So thought I'd just reach out.
Yeah. Well, listen, I mean, the purpose of these calls is really quick fire, give you 15 minutes of hopefully inspiration, education, motivation. Hopefully that's of value to you. I certainly do my best to make it, but I'm going to teach you a couple of things in that 15 minutes that changed my life, could change your life. And what's more, if you're interested, at the end of it, I'll email you a link to my new Growth Syndicate, which is a school community. Now, it starts from 70 quid a month or £1 a day if you buy a year in advance. But the beauty is you can get 7 days completely free. Get in there. There's loads of lessons. Exploit the hell out of them. And if you don't want to stay, leave before the end of 7 days. But if you want to stay, it is a great community. I've been doing a similar thing for more than a year on WhatsApp, but the WhatsApp was limited, so the school, spelled SKOOL, is a better platform. But what I'll do is I'll show you a couple of things, then you can ask me any questions. Hopefully there's something useful in there. Now, the first thing I talk about, let me share my screen with you. Right, can you see that screen?
Yeah, I'm just going to make mine a little bit bigger. Cool, yeah.
So about 20 years ago, one of my mentors, who was charging 18 grand a day back then, he was the head of corporate restructuring for KPMG, a guy called Stuart Lawson, incredible bloke. He was bemoaning the fact that he was working with big clients, probably shouldn't say their name, but clients like Sainsbury's, B&Q and the like, and they were paying him 5 or 6 million quid to go in with a bunch of his team and in effect do a corporate refocus, re-strategy and so on and review. And he said, we spend 6 weeks with them, we go all over the business, there's 20 folders of output. Because there's 20 folders of output, it doesn't get read. Because it doesn't get read, it doesn't get acted on. Because it don't get acted on, they call us back in 2 years and pay us another 5 million. He said, I wish I could just say to them, let us do the 20 folders of thinking, interrogation, research, analysis and so on, but then put it on one page, one map that will show where you are, where you want to be, what you got to work on, and what you got to do in those areas to get from where you are. I said, Stuart, that's fucking brilliant. I'm going to do that. He said, Mike, it's terrible consultancy. You can teach people that shit in no time at all. I said, yeah, but if it's right, it's right. Together we created this system 20 years ago. 12 years ago, I wrote about it in my book, Failure Breeds Success. And I've evolved it since. But essentially, it's exactly that. If you know where you are today, what's your income, how much money you got in the bank, where you're living, how many hours you're working, are you happy, do a 0 to 10 happiness factor, then where do you want to be? What does that look like in 3 years' time? Is it 10 times that income? Is it working less hours? Is it spending more time with the family? Is it a different geography? Is it a different job, a different business? Write that down. If you know where you are and where you want to be, that's like a satnav to success. I can then say, and I do these strategic mapping days with people, one-to-one, where I then say, if we know where we are, we know where we want to be. That's our sat-nav. All we then need to say is, okay, if we were at a sat-nav, we then say, okay, what vehicle are we going to use? What are we going to go, the scenic route, the fast route? And similarly, in life or business, we say, to get from where we are to where we want to be, what areas are we going to work in? Is that we got to develop people, we got to develop our products, we got to get some finance, we got to look at the marketing and the brand building, because we're great at what we do, but no bugger knows about us. So it's really simple to say what areas need to develop to take us from where we are to where we want to be. And once we've got that, sorry, let me get rid of this. You see, you can fuck up and still be successful. Once we got rid of that, and we know where we are, where we want to be, what areas we've got to work on, literally then, okay, in people, What have we got to do? I need to get rid of these people. They're not reliable. I need to get someone who's much better. I need an incentive scheme to keep them more focused. I want to become an ISO 9000 accredited employer so people see me as credible, or whatever it is. We know that there's actions and initiatives in each area that can take us from where we are to where we want to be. Okay, finance. I've got no bloody money. Okay, are you spending money on the wrong things? When I was bankrupt and homeless, a guy said to me once, live like a church mouse for a year, you'll live like a king forever. And he taught me, I was making my own sandwiches for £2, a loaf of bread, a chunk of cheese and that for £2 a week, when most people were spending £2 on a sandwich. And little cost savings like that actually changed our lives. We literally went from bankrupt homeless, I don't know if you know my story, delivering pizzas with a hole in the floor of our Mini, to building a business in 20 countries, being on Secret Millionaire and so on. But, marketing. How do I get into that? What is marketing? Okay, I need to learn about lead gen. I need to get on social media. I need a logo that's recognizable. And suddenly we populate this map. Before you know it, on one page, I know where I am, I know where I want to be, I know what areas I've got to work on, and I know what actions I've got to do in each of those areas. Can't be that easy, Mike. I never said it's easy, but it is that simple. Okay? Now, this is the map I created that built us from bankrupt to business in 20 countries. But then over time I evolved it a little bit, because people said, I don't like the shape of that, Mike. That shape's important because the psychology is important, in the sense that if we build a business with great people and no sales, we ain't going anywhere. If we got great sales but no money, we ain't going anywhere. So the importance of understanding that we converge all of these areas together towards a better, stronger, more solid future state is what's important. Okay, now, but I understand the psychology that if people can literally right where they are here and right where they want to be there in a continuous line, and in these put the areas, so we put people, finance, sales, marketing and so on, and then in this is week 1, let's go to, there's different templates in year 1, 2 and 3. So currently I've got no staff. I need to get off the tools. So in people, I need to hire a subcontractor or an employee to get me off the day-to-day time for money. Okay, that's year 1. Year 2 might be I want to get to 10 employees. Year 3 might be I want to get to 50 employees to get to a business turning over 4 million quid. Whatever your numbers are. Okay, in finance, I've got no money. Can I raise that? Can I leverage it from my house, my property? Can I sell a car and go without for a little while? I always had a mantra that I will do today what others will not, so I can live tomorrow as others cannot, okay? And then from that 3-year map, we go to a 1 year, 4 quarter. We boil it back from the 3-year map and say, okay, to get there in 3 years, where have I got to be in 1 year? And if I broke that where I am to where I want to be in 1 year into 4 quarters against that people, finance, sales and so on, what are the actions when I boil it down? And then I can boil it down from there into that first quarter. Let's look at August, September, October. Okay, that first month, let's look at week commencing the 1st, the 7th, the 14th and the 21st. And we break that detail down. Now, I'm not kidding you. I have helped businesses double in 3 months. I have helped them 10x in a year simply using those tools. Now, you've got to be disciplined. There's no point creating a map and then not bloody following it. If you put a postcode into a satnav and then never look at the satnav, you're going to take the wrong turn. If the satnav says turn left and you turn right, that'd be, if I can be blunt, fucking stupid. You'd end up in the wrong place. But in the absence of having a map, a satnav, or following it, we're going to end up in the wrong place. So it's not the lack of goals or the lack of knowing what we need to do that's the problem. It's being disciplined and holding ourselves to account that's the problem. So some people can do that on their own. Other people need a mentor that they can ring every week. So I have a 90-day breakthrough program where we create the map. That takes a day. For the next 90 days, every week, 13 weeks, I'm having a call with people. Hey, where are you today, mate? Did you get rid of that person? Did you employ that new person? Have you put a job on Indeed? Oh, I've been busy, Mike. Great, I didn't ask how busy you are. Have you done this? Oh, well, I've not been well. Mate, if you haven't done it, tell me. You asked me to hold you to account. You asked me to be blunt with you, to be honest with you, to get you where you want to be. I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass, but if you want me as a tough love mentor that wants to be your biggest cheerleader, I'll hold you to account. And so these templates, and I'll email you them after, if you follow this, and I'm going to send you this video as well, so you can replay, I talk fast, you can replay what I've said, you can slow it down, you can replay it as many times as you like, you can put it through something like Otter AI, it'll give you the transcript, so it'll even write everything I've said if you want, it'll summarise the principles of what I've said if you want. You could buy my book, or you could join my community free for 7 days, learn the hell of it. Now, all that's there. If you do this, it might seem too simple to be that achievable, Mike. It absolutely isn't. I have helped thousands of business, and this took me from bankrupt to retiring at 46, going on Secret Millionaire, becoming a deputy lieutenant, representing the king in the county, and it works, okay? But no surprise, it only works if you work it, okay? That's the reality. But in this group, every single morning, I put a post out that is inspiration, education, motivation. There are hundreds of them in there that you could learn from. Now, I've only been on this platform 8 days, so we're still just getting people moved across from WhatsApp and that, but I transferred hundreds of the daily posts. And in there, if you want, you can click in, let's go to here, and you can click in and say, oh, what are people saying about that? You know, what comments have they got? Oh, this Howard sounds like an interesting bloke. I could hover over that. Hell, if I want, I can follow Howard. He runs an addiction clinic in Bali. Amazing business, actually, amazing company. But you can have a chat. Hey, Howard, I really like what you say. Have you got time for a quick call? Or somebody on there like Jordan, who does lead gen and so on. But that's the community bit. Every day I start the day with people I work with or people who are in my community with a thought of the day that starts the day not by looking at fucking news or negative, but by looking at positive, inspiration, education, motivation. There's classrooms in here, okay, and in these classrooms, literally, there's the 10 lessons that took me from bankruptcy to building a business in 20 countries. Each lesson has a video where I explain the whole process. You can print off that lesson if you like and scribble on it whilst we're going through the video. Okay, all of the steps, the actions, the lessons are in there. Okay, there are literally hours of lessons that will change your life if you're willing to do that. And in that first 7 days, abuse the hell out of it. Take as much content as you can from it, learn, and then decide if you want to stay. But there's loads of classrooms. Strategies of the self-made. I don't know if you've ever seen any of my podcasts, have you?
Not your podcast.
Okay. So for a couple of years now, I've been doing a podcast called Success is a System. So those podcasts you can find on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Google, whatever, but they're also in this platform. So for instance, the one with Charlie Mullins, don't you ever heard of him? He built Pimlico Plumbers, went from being 15, no education, through to selling for 146 million 3 years ago. Now he's going again with We Fix London to build it to $1 billion. That's interesting, and you can listen to that podcast. But what I then do with each of those podcasts, and there are loads, is I say, yeah, but what were the 12 principles that took Charlie from an unqualified 15-year-old to a £146 million exit, okay? Let me summarise those even more. More importantly, if you want, why don't you set some goals against those principles? And if you rated yourself against what Charlie does, let's say it was constant PR, well, currently I'm probably a 1 out of 5, but I want to get to a 3 out of 5, so I'm going to do this, this or this. And you can set your goals against that. Again, all free for the first few days. Alfie Best, gypsy billionaire, born in a lay-by in Leicestershire in a caravan, taken out of school at 12, worth 1.2 billion. I was CEO of Best Wealth Network, built a business for him. Neville Wright, window cleaner, dyslexic, ADHD, sacked from 17 jobs, so he set up his own business, became a window cleaner, decorated, then became a builder, then built kiddie care, sold it for 70 million, now he's worth 200 million. And then there's others dropping through. Kevin Byrne built Checker Trade from drug addict to 70 million pound exit. Emily built an amazing legal practice, not the sort of person you would expect to be a lawyer. And there's dozens in there you can learn from, okay? Every week I do an open mentoring session on a Wednesday. I'm going to do that tonight at 7, and I do a Saturday coffee morning at 8:30. Any questions, people can share a win, they can ask a question, they can just listen to other people's if they want. And over time I'm going to drop other things in here about lead gen, about finding winning teams, and so on. That community is there. I'll send you the link if you want to jump on for 7 days, see if you want to stay.
Awesome.
But I've talked enough. Have you got any questions? We've got about 5 minutes, then I'm going to have to jump, mate.
At the moment, no. I think you explained everything really well. I mean, you talk fast, but that's perfectly fine. That's how my brain operates. So, I think the templates are sort of something that would actually work for me quite nicely. I'll probably sign up to your platform and give it a squiz and see how it is, and take it from there.
Well, listen, I'll send you those templates. You can have a play. I'll send you the video of this, so you can listen to it. You can play it on 0.75 speed if you want to slow me down. You can pause it. You can think. You can do something. And on that, you'll also see 5 minutes where I just whizzed through the community and how that works and so on. Okay, and I'll send you the link to that. If you want to do some more, you can DM me in the community. You can. Talk to me on LinkedIn like we first connected, or now you've got my email, you can email me. I'd love to do some work with you. I'd love you to become a permanent part of the community if that works for you. But either way, I wish you outstanding success for the future.
Awesome. Brilliant. Thanks very much, Mike.
Have an amazing day, and welcome to the community if you sign up. It'll be later today that I'll send you all that, but I will send it you today.
No rush. Awesome. Have a good one.
Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.